Hi there, it's Annabelle. Welcome to this week's Sketchbook Story Sunday. My entry today is very simple, mainly so I can try out this cool set of color pencils. Lilith bought these for me for my birthday, and I sampled all of them and thought that one of them would perfectly capture autumn colors, with the exception of purple, but that's okay with me. So this entry is a snapshot of an afternoon in autumn and trying to express my admiration and my love for autumn because it's been my favorite season, probably because it is my birthday season, so I've always loved autumn. And the photos I'm referencing today is from an afternoon when I went to the park. Now that I have a bike, I'm so grateful that I can get around conveniently, and I feel more adventurous and more capable of just getting outside of the bubble of campus because it can really get to you sometimes. And at this point it was still pretty sunny. I feel like the leaves just began to fall, and I was supposed to be all productive this one afternoon, but I don't know what it was. I just needed to get out and I wanted to sit under the sun, so I took out my picnic blanket. I say that with quotations because it's actually a dining tablecloth that I found at Savers, but it's very thick and perfect for the picnic blanket because it's yellow gingham. So I packed that up in my bike along with my poem journal so I can work on some poetry for my class and a novel that I'm reading currently. And I just biked over to the closest park that has a lawn and sprawled out, was just sitting there, and I spent a good hour there before it started getting very windy, like so windy that all the leaves were starting to gang up on me or my blanket would flip over. But either way, that was a very pleasant afternoon, and I'm really glad I did that because growing up, that is not something I would do. I never considered myself an outdoors person, and I considered myself to be part of the antisocial club or just like indoors, homebody, house cat sort of thing. But it's nice to feel like I'm really changing, just like the leaves are changing. How poetic, right? One of the days I was just biking in the more suburb area of Providence, and it's very quiet in those streets, and it's cool to find little pathways I never see, especially ones that are paved with cobblestone, just because a lot of the architecture still remains, as well as the stone floors. And that's one of my favorite things about New England, or just East Coast in general. I'm really growing fond of it. So I was biking through this little alley that was cobblestone floors, and a pile of yellow leaves were just scurrying across during the wind, and just watching those leaves, it just really made me feel like that leaf. I feel very dramatic to say that, but it just makes me realize we're just one individual of like a really big organism. Like if we're a leaf from a tree and we have all of these leaves around us, and then we eventually just fall and we get blown places that we might not expect to end up, and then we just wither and die. But it was a very full cycle of life. We got to grow and we get to photosynthesize and whatnot. So I just felt very connected to that leaf for some reason. Or maybe in that way, autumn is really poetic to me in general and always fleeting and so beautiful. So that afternoon when I got home, I picked up Bambi and took a mirror selfie. It was so cute because this tree outside of my window gets so fiery red, and the sun would bounce off of it in the afternoon and reflect a pink hue light into my room, which is really beautiful. Yeah, I'm just really nostalgic, and I think partly that helps me really enjoy the moment because I sometimes remind myself that the present and the moment that I am living this second might be a time that I will look back on when I'm older, just like how right now I look back on my childhood or my teenage years with fondness. Learning to be observant, truly observant, has made me wonder, is this what living in the moment is? I always hear that, it's like some cliche saying, but maybe living in the moment, being so observant to the world around you, like moving through your mundane school halls, being attentive to, hearing voices of students in the halls and looking at the lockers or seeing the flaws in the ceiling cracks and just realizing that after I graduate, I probably would never walk this path again because, one, I'm not going to be allowed to go in the buildings. That would be trespassing. And also, the people around me, we are all this age right now, and then when I grow old, they're going to be old too. So this is just a little tiny bubble of a point in time of like one ordinary life, and everybody is having their simultaneous lives play out. While I am sitting here talking to you, you are sitting there and listening to me. So it's very interesting being this self-aware, I guess. And lastly, I'm sketching this portrait of myself. This is from selfies that I took while I was sitting on the grass because the wind was blowing and I liked how my hair was coming up, and especially from the downward angle, the sky above me was so blue and broad, and I love how it contrasted with the green sweater I'm loving at the moment. So that same photo is my current icon on my YouTube channel, as you might sort of recognize. My previous entry was so cartoony with every picture basically in a frame that I kind of wanted to break out from that just for a bit. So that's why I only have one rectangle, and everything else I was trying to make more organic, and the tree was just sprawling spontaneously as I went along. And I have no idea why I drew that circle. It can look like a sun, kind of. It can look like a halo, kind of. But I kind of just wanted to color the background, but I didn't want to color the whole thing, so I just made it a circle. I also opted for a number 2 pencil to sketch, which is so unlike me because I love pens and ink. Not sure why. It could just be because it's very satisfying drawing with ink for me, but I want to broaden my horizons, try new things, and this is what the entry looks like. It looks sort of unfinished because there's so much white space. I could fill it up with watercolor or gouache. I'm leaving it how it is because this is like an impression of a moment, and I don't need it to be a finished masterpiece or something like that. The materials used are in the description. Until next time, I hope that you enjoy this. Let us know in the comments what you thought and what else you'd like to see from us. Catch up from our other videos, and take care. Sending you our love. Bye!